Hey, thanks for joining. I'm your host, Chris Gennaro. My co-host is Rizk, and today we have Zach and Chris from Oxalate. How you doing, guys?
Happening,
What's
Chris
up,
and
man?
Eric.
How are you?
Good. I got some shitty diet iced tea today. I bought the wrong stuff.
Arnold Palmer.
Is it Snapple?
No, it's the Arizona stuff, but I bought the diet and I don't like it. But the Arnold Palmer stuff is great. Anyway, enough about that. We're gonna start talking about the video that dropped today.
Sure.
So Zach, as a lot of people might know, is in a bunch of different projects. One of them is Fernwah. So you just dropped a new video from Mind Decay Productions. We know Tage. I sort of correspond with him. He's a cool dude. But he helped you out with that as well as a lot of two of the Oxalate videos.
Yeah.
So let's just start talking about it.
Well, first I just say like Tage is like the young genius. He's the Major scene, and he's just like he's just amazing. Like, and also I didn't realize I thought he was a little older. He's like homie's still in high school. Like we're working on running a show together, like an outdoor show at like some brewery, and I'm going on vacation to visit my brother in Arkansas. He's like in the military. So I was like, yeah, like if you find a venue you like, dude, just lock it down. And he was like, all right, cool, but like in case I have to sign a contract, like I'm only like such and such age. I don't know if I'm like allowed to. And I was like, dang, dude, like I didn't realize you were so young. So he's just so freakishly talented. And especially like this video, like I gave him a few ideas, and he really made it his own thing. Like he really just wowed me with this video. I'm super stoked. Plus it's like 7.5 minutes, so it's like that's a lot. It was just like a lot for him. And actually the start of this video, like we had always planned on doing this video together, but he like started. Like he sent me like the first 2 minutes. He was like, hey, I had a sick idea. What do you think? And I was just like, all right, I guess we're going. Like, let's do this thing. So he really he got to get like so much credit for this, like for that video. Like he really killed it.
Yeah, and it's also got to be a little hard because I know towards the end he's got to sync up a video to a sample that I'm sure you did separate from that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's like a few vocal samples. One of the samples, there's actually like a YouTube video of it, so I was able to like send him that video so he can kind of like interlay other stuff on top of that. And then one of the things is like a spoken word thing that I did, and I was originally gonna like make a video of like my face, and then he would put cool effects on it. But then I was like, that's just kind of lame. I like it better that like I'm not in the video at all. Telling you my ugly mug ruining this thing.
I think I don't like, it's funny because some of these sci-fi guys, like I recognize the name, but visually I don't recognize like Philip K. Dick or Harlan Ellison from each other. But I think you said that those were the two guys in that video.
Yeah, and the video of Ellison's from like 1966, 67, just talking at some college, and like I love like his videos from the 60s and 70s because he's talking about stuff that's like a problem now. Like he's talking about how like the NRA is going to become a big issue. Like he's talking about like environmental problems 40 years before like they were becoming like these like mainstream things. So I like respected that whole thing about him. And he like marched with like MLK like in Alabama. So it's just like what I mean, he was just always around these things. And then on top of that, writing all this crazy sci-fi and pissing off like everyone in Hollywood, like suing James Cameron and like winning, like what I mean, like because like he kind of wrote like the Terminator is kind of based on a story that he did. So I just like all that stuff about him. He's kind of just like the Jewish version of Joe Pesci, almost. Like when you see his videos, because he's just so ready to just square up with anybody. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the world is going to such shit that I feel like if they look back on this video 40 years from now, they're going to be like, yeah, how did they know the world was going to go to shit with the environment? And I'm like, well, that's what's going on. I mean, you can't.
I think, like, it seems so odd for like us now. It seems obvious, and I think when he was talking about it in like the mid 60s, it what I mean. You really like you were going against like the norm. Like now, it's like a very it's like clearly you could just look around. It's very easy, but like you really had to like listen to people's stories back then. Like what I mean, because it wasn't like on the news. No one was talking about global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it. So I just think that's cool. And then also like his most famous stories, like I Have No Mouth, but I Must Scream, like it's all about like singularity and like computers taking over, but like written in like the mid 60s. So what I mean. So it's just like I just like how he was so able to kind of see the future before it was even happening almost. Or just maybe he just had the pessimistic approach to it, and that's just what happened to turn out the way the way it turned out.
What is the individually rendered part of the title of the song?
So there's like a poem I wrote, and I did the spoken word, and that's one of the lines in the poem. Just basically, I was like Ramapo, like the reservation, like the hiking spot.
Ramapo?
Yeah, it's like a hiking spot.
Yeah, where like they have a college out there. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that.
Exactly. So it's like I was at the hiking spot, and there's this one spot where they have this like sweet, like kind of swampy bog, and it was kind of like gray day, and it was super cloudy, and that bog was I was just thinking about shit, really inspiring me. I was thinking about just like kind of we'll all just kind of like end up in a bog like that, because a bog is just like decaying matter, so it makes like a swamp a bog. So then I kind of just like wrote this like little poem about it, and then as I was writing this song and doing this like synth part, I thought it would be cool to try to like incorporate that. But basically, just individuality rendered is just how like society just like takes all of the things maybe that like would make you an individual and tries to just strip that, so you're kind of just like can just do whatever the fuck they want, like what I mean, whatever's like you function in a certain way, you fit in a certain slot, like the things that like don't help you function in that way, society wants to get rid of. So that's kind of what that whole individuality render thing is.
How many tracks are going to be on? Did you say it was an EP or full length? The Fernwah.
So it's kind of like almost too long to be an EP. It's like a little over 25 minutes, so I'm just gonna call it an album and 6 songs. Yeah, it's like right in between. And so eventually I'd like to do a vinyl, and I'll split it up like 3 and 3. Like 12 minutes like on each side.
So I know Devin is on the other track that you have up on Bandcamp. Yeah. And obviously this one's an instrumental. What are the other tracks? Like as far as vocals?
There's vocals on one other track. Like I do about like 45 seconds of vocals on one track, kind of just like really bad like propaganda like punk type of vocals, and then I do this like Mike Patton-y thing with like the vocal effect that he does, and he's like not screaming but like not singing, he's like yelling over like a blast beat part. So, and this is like the first time I ever tried vocals, so I was like, fuck it, I could, I don't want to die never having at least given it a shot.
Sure.
And then the title track is like a very just like heavy like progressive metal song, lots of keyboards, lots of like time signature changes. And then there's also like an acoustic track with like B3 and like Mellotron and stuff. So it's a little all over the place. I feel like this is the project to like help me keep my writing and Oxalate and Call Me Mierda like more focused, so I can get rid of all the weird influences and be more focused on just like straight sick death metal riffs and sick punk and grindcore riffs.
Sure.
So it's like whatever didn't fit in Oxalate just sort of comes over here and just becomes something else.
And to even just help me like tighten up the Oxalate and Call Me Mierda riffs, because if I have a place for these influences, I'm not going to be like, oh, let me try this like weird thing, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like no one wants to hear some like weird thing, like they want to hear something like tasteful and good when it's in death metal, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like the experimentation in death metal is awesome, but like you'll hear, you hear something, you're just like, yeah, that's lame. Why are they doing that? And now I'll hopefully like do that in Fernwah and get that out of the way, and just to stick with the just meat and potatoes for Oxalate.
Sure.
Okay. The lava. Yeah, just the lava. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, like this project, I read the Invisible Oranges interview. You said you didn't put any kind of like limit on like what you're trying to do musically with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Just because I feel like I've been in bands where like I'll try to there's nothing wrong with being varied, but sometimes you got to be like tastefully varied. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. So I feel like with this band, I wanted to be tastefully varied. I wanted to just have a project like I could label like progressive, but it's just like anything I want. Like I want to go like a shoegaze part to like into like a grindcore part, like into like a synth part, into like a funk part, like whatever it is. Not that I did any of those things, but you know what I mean. Just like whatever just feels right, like naturally and just like intuitively. Trying to like tap into that like David Lynch of just like intuitiveness. Not even like I'm not even close to that, but I feel like there's a part of art that we all kind of just like let go by the wayside. Like, you know, we don't listen to our intuition. We let kind of like going back to society, but like we kind of let society kind of like dictate even like our subconscious sometimes. So I'm just, you know, really just trying to like just explore like every weird like rabbit hole with this band.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean the end of the song, it like that the instrumental, the Vertigo song, it's almost like 3 different songs combined though, and I feel like at the 5-minute mark, it definitely goes into like this retro sci-fi synth thing.
Yeah.
And I assume that was on purpose, and that there's clearly a sci-fi vibe in you know, on the recording.
Yeah. So like you know, obviously, you know, I was in the pandemic quarantine, so I was like reading a little bit more, and I just was getting really inspired by like all these old sci-fi and like old horror, and you know, I wanted to do like some kind of like dystopian synth thing, and not like, because I feel like every synth thing is just like 80s, like fun 80s, or like, you know, or like Blade Runner, and that's all cool, and that's definitely dystopian, but I wanted it to be like I just wanted it to be like dark and like gritty, like, you know what I mean, how like would sound like on a death metal, or just like something like, just not like poppy synth, you know what I mean, just like, because it's like we're kind of just like ruining the planet, so I'm just trying to like get that vibe, and trying to get the vibe of Ellison talking about this shit like 40 years ago, and like you didn't listen. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the end of the video, is like that's what's going to be the future for everyone. We're all just going to be like decaying in a pit somewhere because we're not fucking taking care of this shit. And the billionaires are just going to go to Mars. They don't give a fuck. Like dickhead Bezos is already leaving. Like I hope he doesn't come back.
Yeah, you do see a lot of scientists though say things like Mars is not the answer. Like I just they keep saying that, and you're kind of like, well, no shit. Does anybody think that that's the answer? But I guess people do. Some of them
can't breathe like on the atmosphere. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, maybe there's frozen water like 500 feet below ground in Mars somewhere, but like you got to get to it. You know what I mean? It's just like all these hypotheticals, and it's like, you think Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk going to do any of that? No, they're going to get a bunch of like slaves. And you think there's any fucking labor rights on Mars? Like, we're going to get up there, and then they're just going to like get a bunch of people with like space lasers to just like get a bunch of like, they're going to turn a bunch of other people into slaves. Like, it's just going to be like, there's no labor rights on Mars. It's going to be some mess. No, I'm good on here, man. I'm staying in Earth. I'm moving to Vermont. All right, because Vermont's like climate change proof. It's already a little too cold, so it'll be a little better.
Yeah, I'll stay here too. I'll stay here too. I'll roll the dice with whatever happens here. I'll take my chances. Yeah.
Well, with Mars?
No, here. I don't want to go to Mars.
That's what I'm saying. I'm taking my chances on Earth.
Yeah, no Mars. But the artwork, well, I don't know if that's the artwork for the EP, but I thought it was cool. It said Tom Toy. Is that gonna be the artwork for the EP?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I sent him like a few things. I was like, hey, I think this is cool, but that was like all him. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't like, I want this, and this. I just sent him like a few. You know, he actually was like, send me some paintings you think are cool. Like, you know what I mean? But he's such a good artist. It's just like, I'm not gonna tell him what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I trust him completely, and he crushed it. And his band is also sick. He's in the band High Cost, and hopefully, Mierda and High Cost will put some shows together. But yeah, Tom rules. Shout out to you, dude. Illogical Comics on Instagram. And he also, before he did this thing for me, he did the artwork for the new Gatekeeper EP that they just put out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the artwork is really good. I thought the artwork was really good. Really.
And I didn't know that. Like, I just knew he was a sick artist. I played with his band before, so I wanted him to work with me on something. So I asked him to do it, and then, then I found out he did the Gatekeeper thing because they like announced that. So I was like, nice. I asked the right person.
That's funny.
Yeah, he did a great job with that too.
Sure.
Let's see. I feel like I want to get Chris a little bit more involved. So, do you want to move on to like maybe what's going on with Oxalate?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, nothing's going on with Oxalate. We're probably gonna quit. Like, we're done. Like, Fernwah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Chris is gonna be the roadie for Fernwah. That's pretty much the big news.
I need a job.
No,
kidding, of course, kidding.
We started recording this weekend, so I'm really fucking stoked about that. We got all the drums down. We got some of the rhythm guitars down. So I'm super stoked that it's finally materializing, and it sounds viciously heavy.
It's going to be EP number 2 for us, and it's going to be filled with lava riffs and all that good stuff. So very excited.
Cool.
How many? So it's another EP. How many songs?
It's going to be 3 or 4 songs. We're deciding. because really like the quality control, we're really being super stingy about like, well, you know what I mean? And then basically, I may have mentioned this last time, but the plan would be once we get this EP out, while we're writing more songs for a full length, which we're gonna start immediately doing, we'll put like a vinyl out that has Infatuating Sickness and this new EP and a couple tracks that we never released, and kind of just like, you know, not close the book, but that'll just be like, you know, Oxalate phase 1, and now like the full length we're about to write, that'll be starting phase 2.
Yeah, do you have a label lined up for any of that stuff?
Well, we definitely have a label that's putting out the tape, but I'm really trying to get another label to put it out as well. But we definitely have one that's gonna put out the tape that fucking rules, a label that I really love. And then there's another one that I really want to get, pie in the sky, hopefully. You know, I'll tell you guys after if you really want to know. But I feel like if I say, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you say it, then I feel like I immediately won't get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? If
I get it.
You'll watch back and you'll be like, that didn't age well, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's embarrassing. Like, content.
So like, yeah, the two songs that are out for Fernwah though, sorry, going back to Fernwah, yeah, like I thought stylistically, yeah, they're definitely pretty different. Like some of the influence I heard on, and you could tell me if I'm way off, like on the Vertigo of Freedom song, like, are you into any of these bands? That band called Fucking Champs, Fang Island, Polvo, any of that, like instrumental?
Oh, funny, yeah, Fang Island. Peter's really into like Fang Island and like other bands. Like he actually showed me them. So it could definitely be a subconscious influence. I really like I'm trying to think. I used to be like into a lot of those like kind of mathy bands that use like, you know, like the delay and whammy bar like effect, like Fang Island. Fang Island's sick though. Like, we were watching a video, they were playing some cover. Man, I forget what it was. It was so fucking good. It was like some R&B song, but it was like so good. But yeah, Fang Island's really cool. I mean, I definitely like not like I like a lot of stoner and doom. There's like a lot of shitty stoner doom bands, but definitely some of that is influenced like Elder. Like if you like Elder, I really like Elder. They're definitely
I'm super familiar with Elder, not familiar.
Their influence definitely bled on, and definitely for Vertigo Freedom, totally like a lot of like Soundgarden and like a lot of like 90s type
I like
of bands. Yeah. And then also like I wanted to just have, you know, do the shred, like, you know, and I didn't want to like have like a ton of shred in all the songs. I wanted to just like have one song where I just like had like one long like, you know, kind of like shred thing. So it's definitely like a lot of like Eddie Van Halen, Guthrie Govan, like all like that shred shit that I wanted to get in there. And actually, one of the songs, the intro song on the EP, I actually wrote when Eddie Van Halen died. I was mad upset, and I have like an MX R90, so I was like, yo, I'm just gonna like fuck around, and I wrote this like one song with the MX R90. So it's like my even though it's like not really stylistically super Van Halen-y, and it's not anywhere close to like his level, I do consider it my little tribute.
Well, the other tune is to me, it's very thrashy, like.
It's basically like metal riffs that like wouldn't necessarily 100% work with Oxalate. That's more or less. That was like just like a lot of like riffs that like, you know, that song's definitely very riff salad, but I still like it. It's like it has like, you know, like you said, a little more thrash, a little more like hardcore, and a little more like just weird parts. But Devin made that song come together. Like his vocals on that song are so good, and like he did it so quickly. He wrote so many lyrics, and like the turnaround time was insane. Like I don't know how he did it so fast with the quality. Like I sent him the track, like just the full track, like, you know, not mixed and not like so he could plug in the vocals just so he could hear it. And then he went with his engineer Cody, like who's the drummer, sang the Sugabog, and then he just like knocked it out like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like a day or two after, like he wrote the lyrics and he just like knocked it out, and I was like, wow, it's insane. So cheers to him too.
You want to move on to Coming Mierda? I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but.
I want to just say really quick with the Oxalate, we're working on a couple of shows, some stuff in August. Like I can't say what they all are yet, because some of the headlining bands, I don't want to like announce that we have a show, but we're working on some stuff in South Jersey, Central Jersey, August, like breweries and other stuff. And then Chris is working on some stuff for us in Staten Island and New York. Good bands too. So I just wanted to put that out there. Oxalate, we're gonna definitely start playing shows again.
Awesome.
In August. Yeah, we all just have like some family and vacation and just like, you know, just getting our life together shit. So we want to get all those ducks in a row, and then we're like, August, we'll start hitting it hard.
Sure.
How's South and South Jersey? I got to figure out if I can get these things.
We were looking at, one of the places we were looking at was, you know, Screaming Hill in Cream Ridge?
No.
You know Cream Ridge?
I don't know Cream Ridge.
It sounds like I made it up, right? It sounds like a fucking porn house. Like, yeah, welcome to Cream Ridge.
Cream Ridge.
Yeah, so like down there, and then yeah, just like Jackson, Cream Ridge, Tom's River, like that kind of South Central Jersey area. Because I just want to do some outdoor shows, like while fucking nice out. But I'm sure it's gonna be like 150 degrees and like 100% like wet bulb humidity. We'll just like melt because we'd be outside. But I'm stoked anyway.
Cool.
Definitely stoked that shows are coming back. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think as far as Oxalate goes, it's going to be a lot of announcements coming up. We got like around 20 minutes of new original music coming out. So we have that EP coming. We also have a live set that we did at St. Vitus. It will be coming out soon, apparently.
Yeah, but
that's another thing.
We can't talk about that either.
Just a little teaser for all you out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think you just fucked up our NBA, bro. I think that's canceled.
Fuck, we're canceled.
Ah, shit.
The show's canceled.
The show.
But
We're not
so
canceled.
we do. We have like a live stream thing with some other bands and like with a big like label, where like they featured a bunch of their bands and us. We're not on the label, but you know, hopefully one day we will be on that label. So that's gonna come out hopefully sometime in July, not sure. And it's going to be how the Horrendous thing was, where you pay like, you know, $5 to $10 and you get to stream it for like 72 hours. You get like a shirt that's going to be like either a brand new design or like the design that we use for the flyer, whole thing. So it's not just, you know, you're not just getting the show. And then, yeah, I don't know. We might,
that's a sweet deal, man. $10 to get the live stream and a shirt.
It is cheap. It is a good deal. It's a good deal.
Yeah, we just had Horrendous on.
Oh, nice. Who did
you
have
know,
on?
super nice guys.
Oh, they're like the sweetest.
Yeah.
I usually
I love Horrendous because it's like they got the death metal riffs with the doc and solos. It's like the straight 80s hair metal solos. It's so good. Like,
what's his name? Matt?
Matt's one of the guitar. Yeah, Matt and
Damien. Shredder? One of them.
They both shred.
Yeah. Good guitar player.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to move on to Call Me Mierda now?
Never.
No.
That's not even a band. It's just a joke.
Never.
No, yeah. So basically, with Call Me Mierda, we have an EP coming out. We have the labels all like, we have 2 labels that are gonna like, one label's gonna put out tapes, one label's gonna put out CDs, this and that. That's also, we're waiting for them to tell us what to do, more or less. Like we just finished getting the mixes. We're finishing up the last thing in the art. So once we give that all to them, they're just gonna tell us when we're gonna release it, and then we'll announce. But it's a 5-song EP, an intro of 4 songs. It's totally fucking vicious. I'm super stoked. Like it's basically kind of like super like raw punk with like a little bit of like old school hardcore, and then kind of like the new grindcore power violence influence. And Jackie from Oxalate does vocals.
Okay.
Our drummer, and she's ridiculous.
Cool.
It's vicious. Yeah, it's just like I when I describe like the EP to people, I say it's like feral audio, because it's like so like it's mixed, and it's like mixed well. Like Devin from Oxalate recorded it, and then Cody from Sangu Sugok mastered it. But it's just like it's like unruly in a good way. Like, you know what I mean? It's like just like super like loud and raw and vicious. And I'm super stoked on it. I'm so excited to play live with it, because we were ready to play live before the pandemic, and we were gonna hop on a couple cool shows, and then obviously pandemic happened. So it's this band's kind of just been gestating and ready to play live. So we're actually going to DC on Saturday. We have like a kind of like live stream like event thing.
Cool.
We're gonna like film with some other cool bands.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got like a lot of effects on the vocals, and it's real like sort of dirty and I'm listening to it. What?
I was gonna say it's like we like there's not too much crazy effects. Like we use like this like semi shitty microphone on purpose, and then put like a little bit of extra distortion and just like a little bit of reverb. So it's really like it is some effects, but it's also like her voice is just like so fucking angry.
But it definitely, like, listening to it, I get like a lot of nostalgia from going to a lot of punk shows in the 80s and 90s.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely love that raw energy of
Appreciate it. That's like a dope compliment, man. I appreciate that.
yeah, like in a fucking VFW with all like, before like you actually bought ripped jeans, like you actually just had jeans that were just ripped because they were fucked up and
The pit.
shirts and, you know.
Oh yeah. I'm excited to play that live. I don't know what it's gonna be like. I feel like Jackie's gonna be the next Gigi Allen. She's gonna be crazy out there. And then also like our bass player Jeff Cannonball, the wrestler. So like who knows what he's gonna do? So you know what I mean? Like we've only just practiced. Like I really like I don't know what's gonna happen on stage. Just like a bunch of maniacs.
Yeah, you got to play some like VFW halls and stuff.
Yeah.
That's all like. That's a lot of the punk shows I remember. We're always at like these shitty halls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the best tight. You know, like you know, and then inevitably they always got broken up because nobody.
It's a good show if the cops don't come and break it up.
Yeah, if you could have the whole show without it getting broken up, that was crazy.
Wasn't a good show then. Okay. Actually, like, so when I was in high school, I had there was like a battle of the band club, and I threw a show, and the cops came and broke it up, and it was like at a Catholic high school too. So
I feel accomplished if that happened.
I felt accomplished for like 10 minutes, and then because the headlining band didn't play it, like mad people wanted their money back, and then I was like, this sucks. Like everyone was like chanting, like we want our money back. And I was like, well, you should have told the singer of the band to like make out with a girl in the bathroom. Because the Catholic school, the priest got all pissed off, like, and called the cops because the devil was happening. Who knows?
I'm trying to think of what else we. I mean, what made you want to do like a punk record? I mean, it sounds like when I was listening to it, some of the Huldra stuff was a little bit more punk influenced, but and it seems like so you definitely have that and can't use it for Oxalate, so I guess that was just like again stuff that you had that you just needed something to do with.
And also like playing with Peter, like he's the same drummer from Fernwah. He's such a ridiculous drummer, and he really likes to play fast tempos, and he's really into the punk and hardcore scene. Has been in like bands for like 10-15 years, so like a lot of that influence like comes from him too, and a lot of it comes from Jackie. Like Jackie likes a lot of punk bands. She's really involved in like the underground punk scene, always going to shows, like friends with a lot of bands, so they really like drove the punk inspiration, kind of like inspired like my writing, showing me bands and this and that. I mean, I like a lot of punk bands too, but like it's really I feel like I'm more like into like death metal, so like the punk and the grindcore stuff is like more of like an artistic stretch. Like I'm kind of like I'm going for something. I'm you know what I mean. I'm like dipping my toes in the water. It's not like my natural thing, but I enjoy doing it. And I love just like the visceralness of it. You know what I mean? It's fun, like the directness of it. So that's why I'm really excited to play it live, because I feel like this is the type of stuff that it's better when you have someone giving you feedback immediately, like next to you, like with like a live show. That like relationship.
Some of the lyrics were in Spanish. Does Jackie speak Spanish?
Yeah. Okay. And that's another reason we're waiting for August to start doing shows, because Jackie's from Honduras, so she's going to visit Honduras for like a few weeks. And yeah, the vocals are in English and Spanish. And I like that. I think that's really cool. And like that wasn't something like we discussed or anything. It wasn't any kind of like preconceptual thing. I think just as she was writing the lyrics, like that's what was like vibing with her. So, and I like super respect that.
Are you gonna play Honduras or what?
I would love to. I'm hoping that when she goes there, she gets all the connections and find like the Vitus of Honduras. Like I'd love that. I think our friends Noisem, I'm not sure if they played Guatemala or Honduras, but they went down there. So there's definitely like a scene of like ravenous metalheads who want to see shows. So I'd love to.
Cool.
Let's see what else I got.
What's the best movie you've seen in 2021?
What?
The best movies in 2021.
What
The best movie you've seen in 2021? Yeah.
I didn't see anything good in 2021 yet. I mean,
But it doesn't have to be a new movie. Just like the best movies you've seen like the last like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever fucking month it is.
maybe that, you know. Wait, you want me to go or you go?
You go. You go.
I think maybe that was maybe 4 months ago. That movie. It was called Sound of Metal, but the guy was not in a metal band. It was kind of more like
it was like a Jesu, like
yeah, like shoegaze noise kind of thing. But that was a good film. I like that. I enjoyed that.
So I do have to see that. I just like I'm afraid to watch it because like I'm always afraid of like my hearing and I'm a dickhead. Like a lot of times like I won't even put in fucking earplugs. So I'm like, oh, I lose the feeling. Like an idiot. So like that movie, I'm like legitimately terrified to watch that movie.
Yeah, it's because the guy obviously loses his hearing in it. I mean, it was good. I won't spoil anything, but yeah, it is. It's kind of like
I'm only commenting on stuff I've already like. If you watch the trailer, you know like it's about a dude who plays music who's having problems hearing. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, that premise just scares the shit out of me. Like more than like 99% of horror movies.
Sure.
It's a couple years old, but I really enjoyed the movie Prospect recently.
I never saw that.
What is that?
You never saw that, Zakk?
I don't think so.
It's with the guy who's in The Mandalorian, whatever.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes,
oh, yeah, this
I did see that.
I saw 3/4 of it. I think I fell asleep, but not because it was bad, because I just like ate some edibles. I just like passed out. But yeah, with Pedro Pascal and the girl.
Pedro Pascal. Yes, I saw that. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
I just didn't finish it, but yeah, that was really good.
It's funny. I think they shot it in Seattle, and they always like use Seattle as like some weird outer space terrain for some reason.
Out of space.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like in the forest or something there. Like it's like a wild looking forest. But yeah, I saw that movie. I did see that movie.
I always like those indie movies where you're like, shit, man, if I had $10,000 budget, like maybe I could make this movie.
I think that movie is bigger budget than that.
Well, I'm sure, but you're like, I could do something cool.
So like Nomadland, like that won the Oscars. Literally just like Frances McDormand hanging out with like a bunch of drifters.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys saw that. Like
that was good. Oh, that was good too. Yes.
She's good at anything, but also it was just like, all right, like what really was the point of that movie? Like at the end of it, I was just like, I enjoyed like every moment I was watching, I was enjoying it. And I'm sure like the movie made me do all the things like it was trying to make me do, but I was just like, what was the point of that? Like just like hanging out with a bunch of drifters. Like, yeah, shit sucks. Like, sucks to work at Amazon. It sucks, like, if you live in a van and you run out of gas in the middle of the fucking desert. Like,
yeah.
I think that's my big retirement plan, is to get a camera and just do weird fucking movies. And I've seen you make social media posts about that too, Zakk. Like,
I really want to. And, like, I gotta say, like, I made a couple posts and I've had, like, people that, like, so I went to a school in Long Island called 5 Pounds, which is, like, it's like music, theater, film. So it's like I know like some film kids, and a lot of them like reached out like mad nice, like, oh, like I'll help you anyway. So I was like, that's cool. Like I wish I was as serious as like your messages deserve, but like you know what I mean? Like, but that's really awesome people support it. But you know, like I've been like flirting like with writing some like short horror story shit. So like as I get more confidence in that, like maybe I'll take one of those things and turn it into a script. But I'm always inspired by cinema and like home movies, and so I want to take that inspiration to not just music, like but also making any type of short film is just an excuse for me to score it. That's how I look at it too. Like, you know what I mean? Because I really want to get into like scoring shit. I think that's just like a cool and interesting, you know, like manipulating people's emotions, like through sound and shit. But I guess that's anything.
Yeah, I was in my friend's basement who's got a lot of sci-fi crap, and he's got like a full set of plate mail armor stuff, and I was just like, oh, like all these props, man. I was like, I gotta reach out to Tage and get him in this fucking basement and shoot some weird shit and just fucking care, you know.
Well, that's the next thing. we're trying to plan a video where it's like we actually like film some stuff, because all our other videos have really just been like, you know, I give him maybe like a clip of us playing live, and then, you know, we both just find movie clips and he puts it in. So that's hopefully the next step. We'll get our pretty mugs in a video ourselves.
Should mention, I guess, just looking for stuff to talk about. You were in the Sanguisuga Bob video. Jackie had a really funny part in there where she just does like this disgusted face that.
Oh. Yeah, interesting fact. If you watch the video, I'm actually the only one to survive.
Oh, I don't think I noticed it. I don't think I.
And that's because I wasn't there to shoot a death scene because I got really sick. So they shot like this scene of us hanging, and then when it was death scene time, like I don't know what happened, but I got sick and I like was throwing up like outside, and then I just like drove home in Jersey after. And then like Jackie just came back to the house after like saying it's Bob. But I just got like, I think basically like I was just having to give it time, and I wasn't thinking about drinking water, and I was just drinking a little bit, and like I didn't eat any food, so like I think my stomach just got fucked up, and then I was just like, yeah, I'm leaving. But then that turned out I fucking survived. I'm the only one who survived in the video, so I'm still here to tell the story.
I don't remember her death scene. I'm gonna have to go watch that and see how she met her fate.
Her heart.
What?
Yeah, they ate her. They took her heart out.
It took her heart out?
Yeah, for yeah, that was super fun. The dude who did that, I forget his name. I think his name was Seb, but he's an awesome director. He directed some Escuela videos, and if anyone's watching this YouTube video, go on the YouTube for the Sanguisuga Vlog and find the person who directed. I think his name is Seb, and go get him. It's like, yeah, it was really cool, and he was awesome. Like on the set, like it was just like super chill vibe, because it could have been chaotic. There's all these people, you know what I mean? Very super chill vibe. And just like, you know, as chill a vibe as you can get when there's like a bunch of like man-eating dildos eating people and fucking blood corn syrup everywhere.
Yeah, and he said Kane. I guess Kane was there too.
And he said, "What's up?"
I think I was saying I think Kane was there too.
Yeah, Kane from Vomit was there, and then Escuela was there, and our buddy Phil, who hangs out.
He's cutting out for you, Eric, too, right?
Yeah, you froze.
You froze out. I might have to edit that out if I feel like it.
Please, that they were.
That
Edit that out. What was that?
was weird. It's like an explosion of sound. That was strange. Oh, it's going nuts. Something's wrong. I think everybody froze. Chris?
No, I'm good. I just didn't move. I was just like.
I thought you were standing like a statue. I thought you froze too.
Yeah, what happened?
Weird.
I think the thing is dying here.
Uh-oh. Shit.
How about this?
It's upside down now.
Is it?
And it's echoing.
Are you
It's
sure it's
straight
upside
on
down?
our end.
Yeah, I think you guys are upside down.
All right, carry on, man.
Carry
Basically,
on, my wayward son.
Oxalate, second EP, coming at you, man. Super excited. Sometime in August, September.
Okay.